I am Geoffrey in the Kingdom of Sweden campaign from 1648, 30 Years of War, a kingdom's total conversion mode for medieval 2 Total War by Infracted. We are in the month of November 1630. Our architects continue building useful buildings, including the first ever gymnasium in Stralsund. Income stands at 80,000 gulden, the German equivalent of florins. The Spanish have lifted the siege of Baden. The Archbishopric of Trier remain interested in Kaiserslautern, which is under French control. The Polish king attacks Schrimm. Captain Richard comes to the relief of the garrison. The Polish king fails for the third time to take Schrimm and walks off with his head down. Next, an army of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth besieges again the Swedish Chancellor Axel Oxenstierna in Gnesen. Carl Gustav of Minsk has come to the relief of the Swedish Chancellor. Carl Gustav of Minsk takes command of the majority of our units that sally out to fight under the city walls, supported by the cannon and the musketeers of the garrison. The attackers' main strength is their post-reform musketeers. The handful of Polish winged hussars make a desperate charge and are cut down.
Only half the enemy force remains.
The enemy general, Captain Macy, was slain. Our cavalry then moved up to mop up the remaining survivors of the enemy force.
This is a clear victory that goes to only men of great virtue and valor.
Another clear victory with minimal casualties. One unit of late musketeers killed over 900 enemy soldiers. This is probably an all-time record for a musketeer unit. Axel Oxenstierna has become an aspiring commander after this second incidental victory, really thanks to our enemy for besieging him in Gnesen. Lifting off the fog of war once again, we find the Bavarians again in control of Munich. It was probably returned to them by the Kaiser in exchange as part of their treaty. Baden and Württemberg control the rest of Germany's south. The French have captured Lausanne. Trier have taken Worms and Landau. The Dutch have captured Jülich, while Sweden is now in control of the greater part of Saxony. The month of December 1630 comes with more snow and a Protestant cathedral in Elbing built by the rebels taken prisoner in Sweden earlier in the year and sent by our benevolent king to do something good for the salvation of their souls. The Reformed Church is also being re-established in Saxony. We have fought 198 battles in 156 game turns, and there are 2 more battles yet to come in this month that will bring the total to 200. Leipzig is besieged by an Imperialist army. Another Imperialist force under Guillaume von Aldringen besieges Leonard von Brandenburg in Riesa near Meissen. Captain Ericus comes to the relief of the garrison, and the garrison sallies out. The enemy, second in command, General Reinhold Bruis, is slain at the start of the battle. A cannon shot kills a second enemy general, Gottlieb Schröffel von Mansberg. The Kaiser seems to have sent his generals into a suicide mission. Another Imperialist general, Hans Ulrich von Schaffgotsch, is slain. And finally, Guillaume von Aldringen, the enemy commander, is also killed in battle. A troop of enemy arquebusiers make a desperate charge at our lines and are cut down by musket fire. Left without cavalry and with all their generals dead, the enemy pikemen advance under fire from the walls and are cut down without ever reaching our lines.
are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men. Units, march! The enemy army flees the field. Pursue and run them down. All of Christendom will be awed by the victory we have won here today.
The day is ours, and the enemy lifts the siege, but at the same time other Imperialist armies, led by Leopold Wilhelm von Habsburg, have been besieging Leipzig. Gustav Horn comes to the relief of the Leipzig garrison that is commanded by Klaus Dietrich von Feldheim. The odds are greatly in our favor. The Imperialist generals are slain one after the other, starting with their overall commander, Leopold Wilhelm von Habsburg. Next, Thomas von Pragerhof is slain, and Hugo von Rönsfeld and Edmund von Bentheim stand for it.
Christendom will be awed by the victory we have won here today.
The siege of Leipzig was an utter disaster for the Imperialists, as we only lost 4 men. The Imperialists lift the siege of Leipzig and walk away in shame. We come to January of 1631, the month in which France and Sweden signed the Treaty of Beerwalde, in which France agreed to subsidize the Swedish campaign against the Emperor and the Catholic League. A dry dock is built in Rhön for ship repairs. We are at 88% the strength of Austria, and King Sigismund Vasa of Poland launches yet another offensive, this time besieging Lissa, courting death for the 5th time in a year. Johann Berner comes to the relief of the garrison.
This is a clear victory that goes to only men of great virtue and valor.
And this time the Polish king is taken prisoner. The defender of Lissa, Georg Lindbergh, is victorious. He offers the Polish king for ransom, but the Poles seem in opposition to pay the ransom, so the Polish king will remain our captive until the war ends. The Kaiser has been much more sensible, sending off his generals to fight battles for him, never risking his own life. Relations with the Duchy of Brunswick are perfect after a renewed treaty against the Kaiser. The Kingdom of Denmark, which is at peace with the Kaiser, maintains a large army in Lübeck to defend it from a potential Swedish attack. And we're on to the month of February 1631. The German princes convene in Leipzig to discuss the conditions for ending the war. Our income has once again exceeded 80,000 gulden. Lifting the fog of war reveals that the Margraviate of Baden-Durlach have taken Munich from the Duchy of Bavaria. An Imperialist army besieges Plauen in Saxony, which is under the control of the Duchy of Brunswick. Another city in Saxony, Greiz, that was held by Brunswick, has fallen to the Imperialists, who have gathered 3 strong armies to defend it. Our great leader, the King of Sweden, honors the new treaty with the Duchy of Brunswick and marches to Greiz. A glorious battle unfolds outside the city. Captain Nicholas commands our forlorn hope, while the Swedish king takes charge of the main pike and sword formation. The Imperialist armies are under the overall command of Joseph the Adored, who commands personally a strong and highly experienced pike and sword force with some cavalry. The Austrian second-in-command, General Maximilian Ramsdorff, is commanding the enemy forlorn hope, consisting of 11 units of double-handers. The 2 Imperialist generals are reinforced by a third army of lighter units, including several troops of arquebusiers.
There'll be no escaping us now! Attack!
This was possibly the biggest battle so far. The Battle of Leipzig. Captain Nicholas is on his way. Reinforcements are coming. The Forlorn Hope. This is the deployment of Gustavus Adolphus in a pike and sword formation in the Swedish formation, with some arquebusiers in the foreground moving forward. In the distance, you can see the pike and sword formation of Joseph the Adored approaching our lines, and further enemy units are on the way to reinforce the enemy commander. Here's the beautiful Swedish formation, Gustavus Adolphus here in the foreground. Our units are about to open fire. There is tension in the air. so our musketeers have now opened fire, and our cannon are about to fire too. The enemy is slowly deploying with 3 armies. The AI has trouble deploying their units, and here are the fallen hopes of Captain Nicholas now. Our mortars are firing at the Imperialist units as they are deploying in the distance. It would have been wiser to deploy and then approach our lines. So the 2 armies are, for the time being, exchanging shot at the musket shot range, the effective range of muskets, which was about 300 meters. So they're firing at each other from the distance as the Imperialists are deploying. And of course the Imperialists are being massacred because most of their units are not firing while deploying, whereas all our units are firing at once. And so they are suffering very heavy casualties, and most of their units are not even within range. For example, these arquebusiers cannot even fire at our men. They are waiting for their pikemen, and now finally the pikemen have reached the main line and the enemy line is moving forward. Now at this point the battle is heating up, and I had to micromanage a lot, and so some of the most interesting parts of the battles will be left out of this account, as I was micromanaging, and of course I cannot save campaign battles, so unfortunately there were moments I was just too busy to record what was going on. But for now, some enemy units, possibly some dragoons, have approached our lines. They are skirmishing forwards. We are approaching them with our arquebusiers, our cavalry, and they are routed. Our fallen hopes are moving forward. The enemy General Maximilian, the Prince of Liechtenstein, has been slain. Our artillery keeps harassing the enemy units as they're approaching our lines, and now they're almost upon us. The enemy fallen hopes are already engaging our pikemen, and a hand-to-hand combat ensues with push of pikes, with fallen hopes on both sides mixed in with the pikemen, and artillery from both sides hitting the melee. Here are some enemy Imperial tertial pikemen engaged with our own pikemen. Our musketeers here are falling back. They had been caught in melee.
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
One of units of late pikemen that was with the forlorn hopes has been routed. Our general moves forward to encourage his men. Our king, Gustavus Adolphus, moves as close as possible to the pikemen. The battle is now nearly over. The enemy General Captain Jonas, who was coming with reinforcements, has been slain. Some more of our fallen hopes have routed. Here's our general, and you've missed the best part of the battle because I was micromanaging. The battle has been won. Our king, Gustavus Adolphus, is moving forward.
The enemy are utterly vanquished. This is a great victory worthy of only the mightiest of generals.
Here's our king collecting prisoners. A glorious victory, one of the greatest battles so far, a very bloody one. We lost 1,500 men, but we won in the end. So our musketeers accomplished themselves highly. The mortar killed over 200 of the enemy. Our fallen hopes helped a lot, even though they killed relatively few of the enemy. And the 3 enemy armies were completely destroyed. A great victory. The enemy will accept to ransom the prisoners. Next, Gustavus Adolphus besieges Greiz, which is defended by the remnants of the last battle, just a handful of men. We have vast numerical superiority. Captain Adolf Theodor comes to reinforce our king, and we are also aided by a very able general of the Duchy of Brunswick, Rudolf the Scarred. The battle is easily won with minimal casualties. Greiz is now ours, and the month of February 1631 ends on a high note. Thank you for watching.